Well, good evening, everybody. It's Commissioner here. Let me put the window up. It's dark out. I'm driving home from work after 38 hours. I'm pretty fucking tired. I'll tell you what I'm really fucking tired of is fantasy fucking football. I'll tell you why. Because when I look at everyone's stat line and points from this week, it's the same fucking story, except for one person's a little bit different. I'll talk about that in a second. But everyone's points from the top, starting from the quarterback down, was like 6, 41, 3, 27, 6.6, 49, 18, 1, 12, and 2. So everyone's like super crazy, inconsistent. There's no way for you to possibly know who's going to do what when. Aaron Jones is either telepathic, is like Back to the Future 2, like able to bring a sports almanac back from the future to know that Riley Cooper is somehow going to have 190 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, Nick Foles goes into Oakland and throws for 7? I mean, it's completely... It doesn't make any sense anymore. Nothing makes sense anymore. It's ridiculous. And so I know that you all are as frustrated as I am. I mean, Tom Brady has looked like he's been bashed, God damn it, over the head with a sledgehammer for the past 2 months and can't throw a touchdown pass to save his life, and now he throws 4, and Aaron Dobson all of a sudden is relevant. I mean, I'm just beyond trying to figure any of this out. I know that, you know, our standings are all kind of fucked up right now too, because right now it's basically Aaron Jones and Savino have clinched a playoff spot for sure. I haven't done the actual math, but I can figure it out for myself that they're in. But there's still 7 people within 2 games. There's one person, I think, Aaron Goss, all his players were all within like 20 to 15. He had a really good week. Everyone was consistent. But I think he's 6-3, but everyone else is either 5-4, 4-5, or 3-6, which is me. All those people, there's 7 of us fighting for 4 spots. So you still have to win to get in. I mean, 6 wins may get in the playoffs, but who knows? It's impossible to tell. So, you know, if you guys are actually listening to fantasy analysts, if you're listening to podcasts, if you're watching Twitter, or you're looking at the projections that ESPN puts up, you're an idiot. Because I've been trying to do that, and I've been trying to be one step ahead of the game, and it's stupid. It's just, I'm over it. Every time you think someone's going to do well, they don't. Every time you think someone's not going to do well, they do. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me because I've been so busy I haven't been able to look at them for sure, but this past week I scored 160 points, and I lost by like 50 to Capper because all his people went fucking berserk. Keenan Allen had 0 points in the first half and then scored 23 points in the second half. I mean, what these players are doing and what these coaches and these offensive coordinators are doing is criminal. It's actually criminal. I feel bad for Holly. Alfred Morris has had 6 rushing touchdowns taken away from him by 2 different running backs on 2 different games. I mean, it's like they hate us. It's like they know that we can't give Morris too many fantasy points because I don't know. Let's just fuck with the public. It does. It's just, I don't know. Caught me at a bad time. I'm just not in the best mood. So now anything that I really enjoy, which is fantasy football, and I'm losing, I'm gonna just, everything's magnified by 1,000, and I hate everything. This week I had to give up Colin Kaepernick, and I had to give up Giovanni Bernard because I got to swing for the fences. I can't try to play cutesy anymore, and I can't try to play, strategy. I have to just say, I need guys who are going to score points now. So I'm willing to give up whatever I have to give up to make that happen. And I think you all are doing that as well. I think you realize it's panic time. Hit the fucking panic button. Everyone's freaking out. The NFL season this year has been nothing short of bizarre. And, look at somebody like Andy, look at Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones had 4 touchdowns 2 weeks ago. And Andy Dalton looked like the next coming of Joe Montana for like 3 weeks straight. He had 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden he goes and he had like 190 something yards, and Marvin Jones had like 50 yards. I mean, there's zero consistency. There's zero. You just don't know. Any analyst who says that he knows what's going to happen is a fucking liar. And I try to pretend like I think I know what's going to happen, and I know it's not. So now I feel like we're playing. I feel like we're just like watching like greyhound dog races. Just pick a number that coincides with your birthday, and maybe we'll get lucky, and maybe we'll be able to win a game. I mean, the draft this year, if you look back at the draft, of the teams that we actually drafted, it's a joke. I think I looked at, out of the 16 positions that we've drafted, I think only 2 people have more than 8 of the original players. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, next year for the draft, I think that you should go out in the first 2 rounds and get 2 just studs. I don't care who they are. You get Calvin Johnson and you get Adrian Peterson. And that's it. You just go after those 2 guys, and then whatever else happens, you figure out along the way. You got to just budget out $300 for waiver wire shit, and that's kind of how it has to be. That's what I feel like the new strategy is. You try to do all these preseason, rankings, and you got to analyze the defenses and if they're playing indoors or outdoors, or there's nothing. It's nothing. What are we doing? Aaron Rodgers got hurt on the first series the other night. That completely changes the entire dynamic of everybody around him. There's no way to know what's going to happen. It happened 2 years ago to me and Chris with Romo. We had to go get John Kitna as our quarterback in the 8th week. So I wish you guys luck, because I have none. And I just don't know. I don't know if there's any strategy anymore. I used to believe that. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. I used to believe that there was like 80% strategy and 20% luck. And over the past 6 weeks, I'm pretty convinced it's completely the opposite of that. Jason Witten has almost become an almost droppable tight end. I mean, everyone's freaking out about Giovanni Bernard and has been harassing me to get him on their team, and that's fine. And I've been high on him, but if you look at his stats, he's only had 3 good games all season, and he's been sharing time. Every running back shares time. C.J. Spiller was considered an absolute bust 2 weeks ago. He's out. Fred Jackson's in. You're fucked. And last week he ran for like 160 yards. Oops. You're fucked. Zach Stacy. Zach Stacy and Eddie Lacy have basically become like top 5 running backs. If you look at the trade that I just made today, 2 trades I made today, or between the last 2 days, at the beginning of the season, I would have vomited uncontrollably. Kaepernick and Giovanni Bernard for Zach Stacy and Marvin Jones? I don't even know what that is. Like, so the moral of the story is there is no moral of the story. That it's completely random. It's completely random. That's it. You're either fucked after like 2:30 in the afternoon, you realize that you're absolutely fucked, and you have, borderline Down syndrome wide receivers who have scored 2 points. You're pretty much, that's it, and you're down by 40 points by that point, and you only have 3 players going. You're screwed. Your weekend's done. You're over. It doesn't matter what happens on Monday night or Sunday night. So it's random. It's completely up to just throw it out there, see where the wind takes it. You may win, you may not. So this week we're going into week 10. Is that right? Yeah, week 10. The fact that Nick Foles, who's owned by, I think it was less than 10% of leagues prior to last week. He scored almost 70 fantasy points in our league, and was sitting on the waiver wire. 70. I mean, Andre Johnson scored 50 for Holly. 50 fantasy points. T.Y. Hilton for me scored like 45. Riley Cooper, that racist motherfucker scored 45 fantasy points for Tyler, and he still lost. I mean, for Aaron Jones, and Tyler's been on suicide watch for the last 4.5 weeks. I feel bad because he has actually a pretty decent team, but he just keeps getting absolutely screwed. Everyone thought, Aaron's entire team is on bye. I think she had 7 players on bye, and you're like, Tyler's finally going to win one. Here it is. Going to be a redemption for him, and then he gets absolutely ass-fucked. Ben Roethlisberger, who hasn't had a good game in 2.5 years, goes nuts for like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Patriots. I don't even know what to say to that. I think she had a player that scored 0 points, or like 1 point. There's a lot of players this week who were starting who scored like 1 point. We're in week 9, and we're having players on our team that are scoring 0, 1, or less points. That's insane. So, let me just wrap up real fast. This Sunday, don't forget, come out to Johnny's Filling Station anytime after like 12 o'clock. It's Holly's birthday. We're going to have we have the VIP room. All the big screens will be on. We're going to have wings, and you can order off the menu whatever you want. I'm going to get a couple buckets of beer. Some of my work friends will be there. You get a chance to meet some of them. It'll be a really nice time, and Holly would really love to see all of you, and I'd love to see all of you. And Johnny's, as you know, is great, and they have great food. So, anyway, in all seriousness, it's been a great season. Like, it's been so competitive, and every week I'm so challenged, and I do love the competitiveness, and I do love the fact that you just don't ever know. Holly was convinced that she was going to lose up until about till halftime, and she realized that she was going to beat Bennett handily after thinking that she was down the dump. So in all reality, you just never ever know. Literally, you just never know. Keep plugging away, even if you're at the bottom of the list. Like the consolation round still scores you a lot of money, and even if you're in that middle zone, you got to keep fighting hard, because if you don't, you could end up really screwing up your team if you don't strategize for the future, and the playoffs are going to be a real bad time for you. So once you get into playoffs, it's sudden death. You either win and you move on to the next round, or you're done. So Good luck to you all this week. I really hope to see all of you, most of you, for that party. I apologize for not being able to make Kings this past week to Tyler and Savino and all them. As you can hear, I'm still getting over being sick. So anyway, I love you all, and it's dark, and I'm tired, and I need a shower, and I smell, and I got to get all this illness off of me. So Godspeed from the commish to you. Have a lovely evening, and go Pats, and don't be an incognito. Bye, motherfuckers.